Welcome to the Daughter Arise channel. My name is Yvonne and this channel is all about bringing you content surrounding childhood sexual abuse. So if this is the type of content that you're looking for, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. On this channel, I do share things to do with my experiences of going through childhood sexual abuse. I also share news stories and offer commentary to those stories. And I also share other survivors' stories to raise awareness of this subject, because even in 2021, I believe there is still more that can be done to raise awareness of this topic. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And also, if you like the content, hit the thumbs up. So in today's video, I want to share with you a story I came across in the Daily Mail. It is about Coleen Nolan on finding out that her sister was sexually abused by their dad. Now, for those of you who don't know, Coleen Nolan was one of a group of 4 sisters called the Nolan Sisters over here in the UK. They're an Irish band who were quite big in the late 70s, 80s. They sang as 4 sisters and they had different types of hits. But in this story, she shares some of the thoughts that she had at the time as a young child on finding out that her dad had sexually abused her sister. And she said that in her head, she thought maybe this is what dads did to their daughters. But at the same time, she said that she felt revolted at herself. So in this story that was in the Daily Mail, it was taken from Piers Morgan's show Reflections. And in this interview, besides many other things, she was sharing her initial thoughts on her sister, Anne Nolan, being sexually abused by their dad. Anne is 17 years older than Coleen. And in total, there were 5 Nolan sisters. 4 were in this Irish girl band called the Nolan Sisters. And one of the other sisters sadly passed away in 2013 from breast cancer. So there are a few things from this story that I wanted to pick out. Interestingly, that Anne only told her sisters that she was sexually abused after her parents had passed away. I can't imagine how difficult it must have been for her to carry that burden for such a long time, you know, keeping it in and going around family get-togethers, knowing what her father had done to her, but having to keep it in because she didn't know how people would react and for many other reasons. In my conversations with other survivors who I support through Daughter Arise, this is something that I have come across before. And some of the reasons that they give those survivors who keep it to themselves until their parents are way older or when they've passed is because they want to do it out of respect for their parents. They feel that maybe because of their parents' age, you know, the shock of it, you know, they might not be able to handle it, not knowing how they will take the news. And also as well, you know, because of the fear of rejection and or not being believed. And also having to carry everything else that comes along with that experience. One only has to imagine the kind of impact that type of stress can have on one psychologically, mentally and physically. Also as well, Anne's marriage ended after 28 years. Her husband divorced her, citing her history with her father as the reason. You know, this is something that does happen more often than not. And I remember when I went to California in 2019 and the Uber lady who picked me up from the airport to take me to my hotel destination, we got talking and I found that she was a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. She said that her relationship and her friends' relationships had all broken down because of their childhood sexual abuse experiences. She was really surprised that I was married and still married for 14, 15 years and was asking me how I'd managed to do that. But it's something that does happen a lot in relationships. And on my channel, I have shared in other videos, I will leave a link at the top of this one, about the impact my childhood experiences had on my relationship with my husband. But it's by no means something that is a rare occurrence. It happens more often than not. It's just that a lot of people don't talk about, you know, how it affects their relationship. She also said one of the big factors in the divorce as well was that her husband felt guilty about exposing their daughters to possible abuse from their grandfather, which is, you know, Anne's father. Also thinking about Coleen as well as a sibling who found out that her sister was being sexually abused. And her thinking as a young girl that possibly this is something that all fathers did to their daughters is not an uncommon thought. It's something that I share in my book, Daughter Arise, that I asked someone many years later after my own abuse He had daughters, and I asked him if this was something that he did to his daughters. He was really shocked and answered obviously no. But when I was explaining to him, just some of the things that my dad kind of did, and if these were the type of things he did with his daughters, he did seem really taken aback by it. And Coleen feeling revolted that she had those thoughts, in my opinion, she shouldn't feel revolted, because when it comes to sexual abuse and inappropriate relationships within the family, how are you to know what is right and wrong? Yet interestingly, she knew something was wrong, because she said in the article that she thought it was best to keep it quiet. It's unfortunate that Anne has had to go through so much, and the devastating consequences has not only destroyed her marriage and had an effect on her relationships with her siblings, but also you have to wonder about her health, as she and another sister have both been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. This is the second time that Anne is having to battle it again. In a book that I'm currently reading by Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris, and I'm going to start to kind of give a review of it on this channel. I did the intro to the book a little while ago. I'll leave the link to it at the end of this video. Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris talks about the adverse effects that any type of childhood trauma or abuse has on the body. Wish her and her sister Linda well in battling their cancer. It's unfortunate that her other sister, Bernie, passed away in 2013. And I'm really hoping that she can overcome this battle again. So many different dynamics that sexual abuse impacts. And it's really, really sad. She's never really had a chance to actually put everything to bed or to have the justice she deserves. So one can only wish for her to have, a really positive and happy ending